Right. Once everybody gets settled, we'll go ahead and get started. Mr. Wheeler, good afternoon.
Afternoon, board. How you doing?
Good. How are you today?
Fine.
Good. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
Jesse Wheeler. 91664.
All right. Yes, Mr. Wheeler, and I see you have counsel with you today. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Evan Zizai, and I'll be representing Mr. Wheeler today.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Zizai. You'll go at the end after he makes his statement.
Yes, I'll be speaking at the end.
And you can keep your seat. We like to see you all. So if you keep your seat, we'll be able to see just fine. Thank you. Let me just acknowledge the folks who have joined us today. We have the Parole Project who will be speaking on Mr. Wheeler's behalf. There at Angola, we have Tammy Tarver, Janice Brooks, Byron Brooks, Joni Brooks. Miss Joni daughter will be speaking on your behalf, as will James Tate, who's also at LSP. Let me see, Aubrey Williams, Sharita Session, Carol Jones, and Leon have also joined us. I didn't miss anyone. But Mr. Wheeler, I'm going to read some identifying information, ask you to verify it, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Freeman. Your case has been assigned to him. So you are Jesse Wheeler. You were sentenced in October of 1979 in East Baton Rouge Parish to a life sentence for a first-degree murder conviction. Is that information correct, Mr. Wheeler?
That's correct.
All right. Would you answer Mr. Freeman's questions, please?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. How old are you?
85.
Okay, and how long have you served on this charge?
44 years, 43 years now.
Okay, and what's your educational level?
High school, military, technical training in basic electronics.
How long were you in the military?
4 years.
So you do have a high school diploma or a GED, one of them, correct?
I have a high school diploma. I read it from St. Helena Parish, high school in St. Helena Parish, 1954.
So this crime, it was over a woman, correct?
Yes, it was a relationship that we, yeah.
Okay, and you didn't know the victim at all?
No, I never met the,
Prior to this, to the date?
no, I hadn't met the victim, no.
Well, tell me what was going on in your life at that time. What caused all of this, and what caused this offense to happen?
Well, basically, I was involved in a immoral relationship. The relationship got started. I wanted to convince myself that it was to help the kids. There was 5 kids involved, and but any illegitimate relationship like that never seemed to work out. Most of my time I spent working, and I don't guess I spent the proper time at home. And when this incident happened, she had come on one day and she had moved out, and then I come to find out, well, this this relationship with this person that's deceased probably had been going on for a while. I didn't have no real way of knowing that, but that's what I assumed.
Does that make a difference whether the relationship was ongoing or not?
Would it make a difference? I didn't understand.
Doesn't make a difference. I mean, you killed the man over it. Does it make a difference?
Well, the killing of a man, you can never justify the killing of anyone. I can only question myself and ask, how did I permit myself to get into the circumstance?
What is your answer to yourself when you ask that question?
Answer to myself, well, you were of the age that you should have known better. You allowed a circumstance to happen. You deceived yourself into thinking that you had the responsibility to take care of someone else's responsibility, which wasn't true, but you used that as an excuse. But the relationship, I think you was selfish and you was looking after your own selfish motives, what you could gain out of it. After it didn't go right, you further complicated things by going even more wrong that you had gone in the beginning. So there was a life loss. You destroyed your life. You destroyed his life. You destroyed the lives of the ones that you were supposed to be looking after. You disgraced your family. You destroyed the life of your kids. It's so wrong that you can't rectify and you can't justify. And I'm not here to justify. I'm saying that why did it happen? I can't really explain how I let myself to cause it to happen. But it happened.
And how long were you in a relationship?
Oh, I assume it was 2 years or 3 years and all.
Okay. Y'all didn't have any children together?
No children, no. She had 2 children of her own, and she had her brother, 2 brothers, and a sister that we were taking care of.
Okay. And you wasn't married at the time?
No, I had separated from my children's mother, and
How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
Okay, y'all still in a relationship? Y'all get along?
They're here today. Yes, we still have a relationship. We
Good. Okay. Did you use any drugs, alcohol at that time?
No, I never used drugs. I used a little alcohol. I used to, but I never had alcohol at home. Especially I would drink sometime when I got off from work. But no, I wasn't. What you say? I wasn't a heavy drinker. No.
So what would you say, how often you drank? Once, twice a week? 3, 4 times? How often?
Twice a week. When we used to get off from work, we'd have a beer maybe. Usually I had 2 or 3 guys that was working with me. And I was a carpet installer, floor installer, and it was long hours. We used to work at least 10 to 12 hours a day. And when you got off, and dropping these guys off, most of the guys would always want to get a beer or something. And that's what we did.
Okay. You have opposition from the DA, Ms. Barbara of Baton Rouge. The chief is unopposed, the sheriff and the victim's family. And son James Tarver and daughter Joyce, it was like, are opposed. Your criminal history is very limited. You haven't been in trouble much with the law, have you?
No, I haven't been into trouble. I had an incident with the law in Baton Rouge. One incident where I had passed through a gas station because I had passed up my stop. I drove through a gas station at night, which is against the law. And the officer followed me for a while. Then he stopped me and asked me to take a breathalyzer test. And I refused, and he wrote me up for DWI, but when we got to court, they threw it out. No other incidents in Baton Rouge. And I have no incidents outside of Baton Rouge except for traffic violations. I never, no other criminal history, no.
Have you taken any classes since you've been in prison?
Classes, no, I studied with prison fellowship when I first came here. I also had another Ambassador College Bible class. We had begun 100 hours years ago, but I didn't complete that. No.
I see your minimum custody. What is your job at the prison?
I worked for the plumbing shop most of the time here. I operated the water treatment plant for maintenance and general operations, water treatment plant.
How'd you help?
My health is good, I guess, for my age. I got they treat me for high blood pressure, and I got glaucoma in the eyes. But other than that, I haven't been treated for anything else.
You've had 5 disciplinary reports, but you hadn't had any since 1997. So we know that's very good. Your low risk, your minimum custody. Tell me why I should let you out today. Tell me, convince me that Mr. Freeman should vote to grant your commutation.
Well, I can't say that I should be let out because of any accomplishments, because I think you can't compensate for the crime of murder. But I think I realize my mistake, and that don't change the situation. But I think the board should have an opportunity to express their forgiveness or mercy and grant me a release. That has nothing to do with anything that I accomplish. It's,
Warren, do you have any
I won't
comments
give
for Mr. Wheeler?
that.
You talking to me? What'd you say, Mr. Freeman?
Do you have any comments, Ward?
No, just letting you know that he's minimum and, he's on light duty status right now, so, and he also completed, T4C. He just completed that on 22nd, this year.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Mr. Wheeler, so you worked at the water treatment plant?
Yes.
How many years did you work at that drop?
30 years, close to 30 years, yes.
So would you consider yourself kind of retired now?
Yes, I'm in the retirement stage, yes.
Well, I just wanted to,
I
I
haven't
did
worked
know that you had over 30 years in my notes at the water treatment plant, and I consider that to be one of the most important jobs at that prison. So I just wanted to make note of that. Can we hear from those who are here in support the parole project? Could we hear from Mr. Myers?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. This has actually been a several years long process. When we first connected with Mr. Wheeler through him and through his daughter, and it was kind of, you're still here, kind of how did this happen? And so we worked with the LSU Parole and Reentry Clinic, and his representation today is a continuation of that. Even though his attorney was a student, is now doing it voluntarily on his own, just continuing this process. Mr. Wheeler's, he's a veteran. He served his country. This is his first felony conviction, his only felony conviction, his only felony arrest in his life. He served more than 40 years. He served approximately 44 and a half years, and he's 85 years old. None of those things alone, as he said, can undo his action. But you can see how he thinks about it. You can see how he considers it the gravity of his own actions. You can see the remorse he has for his own actions. He has a tremendous support system with his family. His daughter cannot wait to have him home with her. Parole Project is prepared to help him transition. While he is with us, we're going to assist him through those obstacles that after 40 plus years of incarceration will just to adjust to the world again. And we will happily see him when he's completed our program, return to his daughter and his family, where he's going to receive a lot of love. And so we just ask this board to consider that today and grant his relief.
All right, thank you. All right, so at the penitentiary, we have James Tarver, Mr. Wheeler's son. Mr. Tarver, could we hear from you?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about your father?
What great things could I say about my father, of a man that has great integrity, has instilled in me over the years of being a good man and making sound decisions. And I have found myself understanding as the years has passed through the echoes of his prayers that to never not be able to stand for your decisions that you have made in your life and you deal with the consequences. I stand here in honor as the few hours that I even have to talk to him, that he understands exactly what he had did, but he most of all installed in me and in the generations that have not been able to grace his presence, what wisdom that he has to offer unto his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren to sit at his feet. And I'm asking this for all board to grant him that wisdom that he has and understanding will not be lost.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, Ms. Joni Brooks,
Yes, ma'am.
we'd like to,
Yes, ma'am. I kind of like wrote a statement because I'm not really good at speaking my words publicly. I'm not good at being a public speaker. So I wanted to read what I had wrote. I want to come to you from my heart with this request, as this may be the last opportunity to come before you, as my father is 85 years of age. When I look back over the years of his incarceration, I have seen a person who has spiritually grown, and it amazes me. He is so connected. I see Jesus through our conversations, in which he helps me at times in my spiritual journey of having faith. This brings me joy because when his time comes, I won't have a concern of his belief. The things that I have learned as a believer in Christ through the years, I see those things in my dad, and that brings gratefulness to my heart. He is a calm-spirited and laid-back person who loves to talk things out. He is always able to show you a different way if your way doesn't seem to be the right way. My brother and I both lost our mom and dad at a very young age. The loss happened around the same time, so I'm very familiar with loss. While my dad is still here, he couldn't be there physically, so I really consider this a loss. This loss led me to be a person full of hope. I tend to be a person whose hope just ventures on to the next stage of hope as life goes on. So at this point of hope, my prayer is that we could show my dad what he missed in his offspring's lives. I want to be able to show him all the love in my heart that I have for him. I can tell him all day, but it's nothing like being able to show a person through relations that is hard to happen through a 5-minute phone call weekly. I know my dad is regretful for the bad decision he has made, as he has seen the impact it has had on many of our lives. Due to this impact, he turned to God, asking him to protect us and keep us, especially because of his absence. This isn't me putting words in his mouth, but I know because of our conversations and him telling me what his prayers have been through the years since he was going to be absent. Both my husband, Byron Brooks, and my sister-in-law, Tammy Tarver, has had family meetings with my brother and myself to discuss making sure our dad is cared for upon his release. We also have family member support in making sure that he is going to be well provided for. Jesse's previous service in the United States Air Force, honorably discharged, laying the foundation of structure and routine being practiced daily, will also help him with his transition back into civilian life. And I just want to thank you again for your time and your consideration on the clemency of Jesse James Wheeler. And we look forward to receiving official news of clemency and future release date. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Well done. All right, Mr. Wheeler, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before we turn it over to your attorney, Mr. Zizak?
Well, I like to say to the board, I appreciate to have the opportunity to appear before this board, that I could express my remorse, that I could express the and understand to the community that my actions were detrimental not only to myself, but so many others surrounded. And hopefully, it's just an opportunity for me to say publicly that I am sorry.
All right, thank you. Mr. Zizak, close it out for us?
Yes, ma'am. I think most of it's been covered. I think that we can clearly see how Mr. Wheeler is, how he expresses himself, his attitude, his work ethic. I mean, he's been working since he graduated. He was baptized in 1981. He's got 9 discipleship certificates, so he's very religious, very connected with God. He has a certificate of appreciation from the Lifers Association. He was lifer of the month in 1989. I think that he's going to go to a good family that's going to take care of him. And we, request that he receive a favorable recommendation.
Very much. Right. Here to vote,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Freeman.
Okay, first off, Mr. Wheeler, I can truly say I enjoyed this interview. And I think you were very, very truthful. I like your insight into the crime and, you're no nonsense that it was just ridiculous and it should not have happened. I really believe you feel that way. So due to your age and your disciplinary record, my vote today is to commute your sentence to 50 years.
Mrs. Jackson?
I concur, I don't think it took programming for you to understand the gravity of what you've done. I think you've done a lot of self-reflection. And so for the same reasons as Mr. Freeman, my vote would be to recommend commutation in the sentence for 50 years.
Right, Mr. Roche.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Wheeler, I sincerely enjoyed listening to your interview. You were no nonsense, you were to the point, and I could feel the remorse for the crime that you committed almost 45 years ago. And you had good introspect into what you did, and I believe that you are not a danger based on your age, based on the length of incarceration. You're very remorseful and you have tremendous family support. My vote is the same, to commute to 50 years.
Mr. Mirabella?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Wheeler, I concur with everything my colleagues have said. It's been a pleasure to listen to you. You're a little bit older than I am, but you look a lot younger. So you've got a lot of time left for you. I'd like to compliment Mr. Zizai for continuing with this case. It makes us lawyers proud of the young ones coming up. So for being here today as well. My vote likewise is to recommend to the governor to commute your sentence to 50 years. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, Mr. Wheeler, and I do agree with my colleagues. My vote also is to make a recommendation that your sentence be commuted to 50 years for all the reasons that's already been stated. So, sir, we will make that recommendation on your behalf to the governor. Good luck.
Thank you, boy.